The cries were soft but heartbreaking. Out in the open field, a tiny baby deer was calling for his mother. When the rescuer followed the sound, she found him alone, shaking and scared. A few hours later, they discovered the sad truth. The mama deer had been attacked by coyotes. It was clear that this little one wouldn't survive out there by himself. Without hesitation, she picked him up and brought him home. From that moment, everything changed. The baby deer, now named Benny, had found safety and love. As soon as he arrived, one of the animals on the farm, a sweet dog named Junie, ran straight toward him. Junie had never had babies of her own, but she had always been the caretaker of every creature that came through their home. The moment she saw Benny, she took him under her paw, licking his face, staying beside him, and refusing to leave. Junie quickly became like a mother to him. Wherever she went, Benny wanted to follow. When Junie jumped into the pool, her favorite spot, Benny wanted to be there too, sitting beside her on the floating raft. Their bond grew stronger every day. He trusted her completely and copied everything she did. Benny also made a few unusual friends around the farm. He loved spending time with the ducks, especially a little duck named Pip. Every night, Benny would choose to sleep inside the shed with them, even though the garden gate was always open. He could have slept anywhere, but he preferred being with his feathered friends. The ducks waited for him at sunset, and he seemed to wait for them too. Sometimes he would even sit gently on a duck egg without realizing it, like he was part of the flock. It was funny to watch how Pip treated him, playfully nipping and bumping into him like he did with other ducks. Benny didn't mind. He just accepted it, as if he really believed he was one of them. No one could tell whether Benny thought he was a duck, a dog, or something in between. But whatever he was happy. He spent most of his days exploring the garden, where the gate was always left open so he could come and go as he pleased. Every day, the rescuer took him for walks around the land, showing him where the water was and what was safe to eat. As Benny got older, these walks became lessons. He began finding his own food, tasting new plants, learning from the land, and growing stronger. The rescuer often said she felt like a mother deer, teaching him how to survive, just like wild deer do with their fawns. There were plenty of wild deer in the area, and sometimes Benny would wander out to join them. He would graze beside them for a while, then return home on his own. He always came back to the garden, the ducks, and Junie waiting for him. It was like he knew he had two worlds, the wild one he belonged to by nature, and the peaceful one that raised him with love. As the weeks passed, Benny grew taller and more confident. His spots began to fade and his legs got stronger. Every day he became more independent, but he still loved the comfort of home, sleeping near Junie, nuzzling the ducks, or resting in the garden as the sun went down. The rescuer knew this time wouldn't last forever. From the start, she understood that Benny was meant for the wild. He wasn't a pet, he was a wild animal who had simply needed help. She raised him with love, knowing that one day he would walk into the forest and start a new life. That's what every rescued fawn is meant to do, return to where it truly belongs. Still, that thought was bittersweet. Benny had become a part of their lives, and it was hard to imagine the garden without him. But seeing him play with other deer, eat naturally, and explore freely brought comfort. He was learning everything he needed to live on his own, and he was doing it happily. The rescuer often said she hoped Benny would grow up, find love, and start his own family in the wild one day. That was the dream, to know that he would live a normal, free life, surrounded by nature, healthy and strong. Looking at him now, the once lost fawn who had found family among ducks and dogs, it was clear how far he'd come. From crying alone in the field to running freely under the open sky, Benny's journey was full of love, patience, and quiet miracles. His story was more than a rescue. It was a reminder that kindness can cross any boundary, even between species. Benny didn't just survive. He thrived because someone cared enough to stop and help. And maybe one day, out in the wild, when the rescuer sees a strong young buck grazing near the woods, she'll smile and think, that's Benny, living his best life just like he was meant to. If this story touched your heart, give it a like and share it so more people can see how compassion changes lives.